At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to the ISCA Saturday Super Cup Series as we tackle the Jay Leno's Garage 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, and as always, we have Big Al here in the booth. How you doing tonight, Big Al?
Hey, man, doing pretty good here. Just waiting to get this one started, man. Feel like we spent a long week here in Vegas, and I didn't win any money. Well, I guess I didn't gamble. So what we got in store for us tonight here, Brian? And I can't see the screen.
Oh, do apologize about that. We will fix that momentarily. But we have 134 laps on the docket tonight. Stages are 25 and 50. 4 tire sets down there in the pits. Of course, the fuel window is 47 laps.
Yeah, we did this on Thursday, and it went caution-free. So hopefully we'll be able to do the same thing again tonight.
Yeah, definitely hope so, too. I think we will. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, a lot of times these Saturday ones can be a little bit more hectic, but, you know, always have been entertaining. But a qualifying course has started now. These guys have 5 minutes on the clock here to get their times in. And we saw qualifying being pretty important, I'd say, on Thursday, wouldn't you?
Yeah, track position is everything here, especially with the playoffs going on. And I can't wait for you to tell us what that playoff picture looks like here with the Saturday League.
Yeah, checking out the point standings here. Chris Severa at the top of the board. Kenny Powell sitting in second place. Jose Acosta in third. Paul Olson fourth. So fourth in the points right now. Paul Olson's got to be feeling pretty happy about that. Of course, he struggled a little bit there or actually didn't make the race on Thursday. Hopefully he'll make it tonight. But Ryan Strunk sitting in fifth place. Gary Adamson sixth. Kendall Lavron in seventh place in the points. Frank Flores in eighth. And I do believe that is the 8 points, or I do believe playoff guys right there. So keep an eye on those guys. I mean, the cut line pretty close here. When you see Paul Olson and Ryan Strunk, I do believe are tied in points. So could see some changes just based on that, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Paul Olson, though, has been doing pretty good out here today. Really watch his playoff effort, see how he actually does. But it's going to be very important for these 8 drivers that are in the playoffs to definitely try to make sure that they can get not only a good start, because track position being everything, but stay clean and try to get a good finish as well.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. You know, and wondering how Kenny Powell's going to do here tonight. You know, Chris Severa kind of talked to him a little bit about, you know, what he thought about the racetrack out here. He said it was very dependent on, of course, the track conditions, but also that 75% fuel tank. That's what I've been hearing all week, Big Al, is about how that changes the handling of the race car. And you know, just kind of surprised because a lot of times these guys say, oh, that doesn't really change it. But I think at a track like Vegas, it really does.
Yeah, definitely. And these drivers are going to need all the help they can get because they've got enough stuff going against them. Looks like that ambient air temperature is going to be at 69 degrees. The track temp at 75. And the wind, Brian, it's going to be coming out of the west at 10 miles an hour.
Overcast, though, so quite cool. I would suspect this is going to be even grippier than what we saw on Thursday.
And like you said earlier, though, this Saturday night league seems to be a little bit more contact-ish, if you will. So I don't know if we'll be able to actually run this whole thing without cautions, but hey, we'll just have to be along for the ride and see. Also good to have the Johnson brothers back. We got Chris and Brian out there on the track tonight. So we got those 2 brothers as well as the Acosta brothers. So making this feel a little bit more and more like a family affair, right?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, we saw Abner Acosta win last week at the Roval. Can he back it up with a win here at Vegas? We're going to have to wait and see. But, you know, one person that I really want to start seeing more often is that Pedro Enrique we saw, you know, turning them blazing fast laps last Saturday. I don't think I see him, though. But still, a lot of guys out here are going to be making the grid here, even with, you know, playoffs and, you know, not a lot of guys in the playoffs. Still, some guys are going to be coming out here for glory, for honor, trying to get that victory.
Yeah, Enrique only shows up for the road courses. I mean, he's kind of a road course ringer, but tonight's field though definitely star-studded, man. We got seems like the whole gang is here, so that kind of makes us feel a little bit better. Just over half the field here taking qualifying laps here with 2 to go. Looks like qualifying is actually coming to an end here.
Yeah, very much is getting ready to come to an end here as we're watching Abner Acosta try to turn some lamps out here. He's rocking a little bit of a new paint scheme. I'm kind of liking it. Still kind of the yellow and black we saw before, but a little bit different too with, I do believe, some new sponsors on that ride.
Yeah, new paint scheme, same old Abner, though, as he has posted the 3rd fastest time here tonight.
And it looks like Brian Johnson, he has 19 seconds to go. I think he might have the pole here. We saw Johnson on, I do believe, Thursday have some problems. Didn't really catch it in the broadcast, but, kind of looking back at it after the fact, we saw that he was actually involved in an incident. So I think he's trying to maybe start up front and maybe not have that issue. But let's go ahead and take that step away here and pay some attention to our national anthem. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as we have the grid set. Do believe Brian Johnson going to be grabbing the pole here with Kendall LeVron starting on the outside pole, 2nd place. Abner Acosta going to be starting in 3rd place. Don Avery going to be starting 4th. 5th place going to belong to Kenny Powell after coming off of a 5th place finish on Thursday. Chris Johnson going to be starting 6th place. 7th place going to be Frank Flores with Thomas O'Hara in 8th place. 9th place Jose Acosta rounding out our top 10. Joey Prevey.
And that's put John Mullins in 11th with Chris Severa outside him in 12th. Greg Wachinski in 13th with Paul Osen back in 14th. Ryan Strunk 15th, and Gary Adamson rounds out this 16-car field here, just waiting to get this thing going. Looks like we are going to be 1 to go here once they do start rolling, which is a little bit different than last week.
Well, while we're waiting on them to get rolling, let's take another step away, pay some attention to our sponsors once again, and we'll be right back.
Quick Detailer from J&L's Garage is perfect for wiping away smudges, fingerprints, any kind of dirt and grime. The most important part, and this is my favorite, So when people come up to you and tell you your 20-year-old car looks brand new, that's priceless.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to get this thing underway. The pace car lights are out, and we are rolling, getting ready to take the first lap here of the race. Of course, on Thursday, we mentioned it already. That race went 100% green, except for the stages, of course. Stages are 25 and 50. Keep that in mind. Fuel window 47, so that means these guys are going to have to pit. And from what we saw on Thursday, I do believe around 95, that's kind of where these guys started pitting. Around that time, but of course we have a long time until we have to worry about that here as we're getting ready to enter turn 3 and 4. Definitely a great qualifying effort here from Brian Johnson. Fortunately not in the playoffs here, but still, going for dough out here. He's got his brother in the field, a whole host of other G&G teammates going to be working together. But man,
well, they're going to have to. They're going to have to because, how many transfer after this race?
Well, I don't believe this is actually a cutoff race here.
Green flag, green flag.
But definitely these guys have, I do believe, 2 more races to go until we have, or after this race, 2 more. As the green flag is out, Kendall Levron and Abner Acosta still side by side there for that second place position. But keep an eye on Don Avery. He was very strong on Thursday. I expect him to be just as strong here tonight.
Yeah, Don Avery was just giving Kendall LeBron just a little bit of a shove there, tried to get him down the backstretch. Brian Johnson, though, looks like he's going to lead this field here as we get ready to try to get lap 1 in the books. 3-wide racing, though, well, almost 3-wide. 2-wide racing continues further on back in the pack.
Yeah, still side by side there for those top 5 positions. And one thing that we saw, or I was kind of told by Kenny Powell yesterday, I was kind of chatting with him. He was saying that, you don't want to really try to run fast at this place. Tire saving is going to be a huge thing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some guys maybe letting off just a little bit earlier just to kind of save that tire, not get it quite as, you don't want them sliding for sure. As we see Thomas O'Hara starting to be under fire here from, I do believe, Frank Flores.
Yeah, tire conservation is definitely going to be key here. Chris Severa slowly engine up on the 42 of Jose Acosta, who is definitely battling Frank Flores. Now, that high line is definitely going to get itself established. So we did see drivers running the high line a little bit on Thursday. As drivers will start to do that, that high line will definitely, it's a little bit faster. You just have to, it changes when you let on and when you get back in.
Yeah, and talking to Clayton Hoffman after that race, he was kind of talking about how you couldn't be up there long. It would burn the tires up very, very quickly, but it could be something that someone uses, as a tool to get around drivers. This was the Chris Johnson now trying to maybe take a play out of that book there as he tries to get around Abner Acosta, I do believe, for the 4th place position.
And if you remember, we were running strong and fast early on as Brian Johnson's out to an early lead here. He's almost got 0.4 of a second over P2, but those guys that were running hard, they didn't run hard long. You remember they kind of shuffled themselves to the back, so be interesting to see if it's going to be that same way this evening.
And we now see Chris Severa on the inside of Ryan Strunk in the 77. Strunk trying to use the top to kind of defend against this incursion. I think he was successful in it. You see the 77 running a pink paint scheme. I do believe in reference to breast cancer awareness, so definitely love that.
Save the Tatas.
That's right. As a single file back out. So it looks like for the most part everybody kind of content, but Ryan Strunk committed to running the top all the way at the fence right now.
Yeah, looks like Kenny Powell is definitely going to be moving to the outside of Abner Acosta. That battle right there is going to be for 5th place. Powell trying to get himself into the top 5 here for the first time this evening. Abner holding lows, making sure that he stays there as a force to be reckoned with. It's going to make Powell get it by going high. Now, is Powell going to be able to get the run? And there he is going into the turn. Look at how much speed he carries going down in the turn 2, Brian.
Yeah, he definitely carrying a whole lot of speed there, and he's now going to even try to tussle with his teammate Chris Johnson. I mean, I know that Kenny Powell just got by Abner pretty easily there. I think this is all according to plan because you don't win 75% of the races you competed in the ISCA and not have a plan. I think that Abner probably falling back on purpose.
Oh, yeah, it's way early right now. These guys are only 8 laps into this. Will be 9 at the line of this 25-lap stage, and it's still a long way to go. And we're going to see guys that are in the back of this thing slowly start to make their way up front. But right now, Brian Johnson getting it done as your leader here. He's pretty much led every lap since this thing has actually went green. And Kendall LeBron has been sitting right there in P2. And Don Avery still holding on to P3 as Powell makes his way trying to get up there as he is now in 4th position.
Yeah, and we heard on Thursday how big of a deal clean air was. So I'm betting that Brian Johnson's wanting to try to keep hold of it. That's for sure, as he's running some pretty good lap times. Fastest, I do believe, on the track, except for Ryan Strunk and Greg Wachinski, who are running a little bit quicker back there in the pack. But, definitely going to be saving tires up there in that clean air. I do believe we heard Mark Pageant kind of talk about that on Thursday.
You're not sure what's going on with the 117 of Thomas O'Hara. He is definitely not. Looks like he's got a little bit of a blinking issue. I'm not sure what's going on, but he is. Doesn't seem like he's having a lot of fun down there this evening, Brian.
Yeah, definitely doesn't here. As we see Ryan Strunk making a pass here on Jose Acosta, going to be working his way up into that 8th place position, and I don't think he's done yet, as he's going to come up side by side here with Frank Flores. And then he might even be tussling with his brother, which was really interesting, kind of a moment of parody, Big Al. We saw Abner pass Jose last week at the Roval. Now it's the shoes on the other foot. It looks like, Jose might pass Abner. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think Abner's just biding his time right now. There's nothing to gain right here by being fast. So you just got to really conserve. Conservation is definitely going to be key as they're not even halfway through this stage right here yet.
100%. Kendall LeBron trying to hold off Don Avery. I think Avery's getting a little bit impatient, maybe wanting to try to make this pass early. See Kenny Powell starting to work his way forward. Of course, we're now almost, I do believe, at the halfway point in the stage. Of course, stage 1 ends on lap 25 going to 26.
And we definitely did see drivers like this is about the fall-off point. But right now, these drivers' lap time still consistent. Well, everybody is well within the 30s there, so that's still pretty good.
Yeah, but towards the end of these runs, we saw 22-second laps. So we're going to see a lot more fall off. I mean, they've only fallen off about 3 or 4 tenths right now. But I expect we're going to see it fall off a lot. Like you said, I think we're in that zone where it's going to really start to be evident. It's Frank Flores trying to tussle there with Jose Acosta. You also see Joey Preby right there in the rear view. Preby took a little bit of a hiatus from ISCA, now back and better than ever, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely good to see Joey Preby back here running amongst these guys again in this Adderley League.
Chris Severa now trying to still work his way through the field. He's now finds himself up in the 11th place. He's got his teammate Greg Wachinski right there behind him. Yeah, the fall off is definitely starting to be evident here as everyone in the field, 30.7. Their fastest laps, for the most part, were 30.3s. Kenny Powell looking for a way to get around. Oh, someone loses it.
That was Chris Johnson, I do believe.
Yeah, Chris Johnson loses it down onto the apron, gets back onto the track just fine. So he was able to save it, but he's going to lose a spot to Abner Acosta because of it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is where those tires are starting to scream at these drivers a little bit. So that might have been a little bit what he felt as Chris Severa now on the inside of Frank Flores. Ryan Strunk now battling with Jose Acosta. These two are going to be battling what's going to be for 7th place.
And I'm pretty sure that Ryan Strunk is having some issues now. He's been running that top side for a long time, and that is having effects on his handling. I mean, he's falling back. He's not able to. I think he's getting real loose up there. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you ride that top line for a long period of time. And this is going to have all the, I think, evident. It might be a 3-wide condition here. We see Joey Pruby kind of have a blink. Oh, problem!
Severa gets in the Strunk. That catapults, I do believe, the 65
and
car.
No caution out for this accident. The 65 Joey Pruby smashes the inside wall.
Yeah, Severa was, like you said, it was almost a 3-wide condition right there coming into play. Severa actually tried to thread the needle between, I do believe, Pruby and Ryan Strunk.
We have it on the screen right now. We can kind of show the fans out there what just happened. You see, Severa was thinking about slipping it in, and in contact with Strunk there, sends the 65 just smashing and careening into the inside wall. I don't believe that they, the 62 or the 77 probably got a lot of damage in that whole thing.
No, but the 65 did. Who's actually not even being shown with the 65 is not even being shown with a meatball flag. So not
I
sure
think he
what's
just took
going
a
on
toe
with that.
there. I think he might have just did it out of frustration, possibly, as we do see now that Brian Johnson has lost the lead. Abner Acosta getting by him and taking over third place, but now Kendall LeVron is your leader. So Johnson maybe having a little bit of problems.
Yeah, he really didn't have anybody to pace him, so he was kind of pacing the field. And, like we said, these tires, I mean, they're only going to be your friend for so long. So Kendall LeVron now actually getting out front, and he is going to be setting that pace for a little bit. He's got Don Avery, though, right behind him, and Avery's going to be doing everything he can to try to actually get a good finish in this stage, even though he is not in the playoffs.
Already some fireworks there. I'm shocked that did not end up in a caution. That was a big accident there. As we see Greg Wachinski now trying to, on the inside of Ryan Strunk, trying to fight back here and get up into, I do believe, the ninth place position. Of course, all these guys trying to go after as many points as they can. These stage points, especially this close to the end of the season, are so important, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely. As Brian Johnson is going to be doing everything he can to try to fight to stay in the top 5. He's got his brother, Chris Johnson, as well as Kenny Powell right behind him. Those two are going to be running side by side as Powell is elected to take the high line. We'll see if he can still get that speed runoff that he was getting earlier on. I don't think that's going to be the case. And just like that, they've got Jose Acosta now coming into the frame, and he's going to shove Chris Johnson to try to get him through the field a little faster.
Yeah, this is definitely a tractor where you want to maybe push someone a little bit faster than they want to go through the corner, because handling is everything at a track like this.
Yeah, Chris Johnson going way low coming around the start-finish line, a lot lower than we've seen other drivers, but now he is down on the inside as Powell is trying to get the drive off. This battle is going to be 5th place.
In a lot of ways, this is protecting Brian Johnson. Oh, Jose Acosta going to take him 3 wide. Very scary situation right here. This is a scary situation as Acosta aggressively trying to make a move here. Kenny Powell goes down the block.
Yeah, they're getting them done with 2 to go.
Yeah, you can tell it's 2 to go. You'd think it would be 2 to go for the whole race, the way these guys are racing for these positions.
Yeah, Chris Johnson definitely putting the hammer down there, trying to maintain 6th place over Jose Acosta, who just doesn't want to seem to go away. He is bound and determined to advance his position one way or the other here, Brian.
Yeah, he is racing hard, but he still seems like he's racing him clean, at least. I mean, I know that these two have a little bit of a grudge between each other, I'd say.
Oh, no, they're getting it done side-by-side racing. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Looks like Jose now going to get the run, and here comes, I do believe
Frank Flores coming into the picture.
Flores headbutts Chris Johnson.
I don't know if Johnson's got it saved. He loses it, smacks the wall, takes out Greg Wachinski. There's going to be some bad blood from that one.
You think? Oh, yeah, that was definitely not good. I don't know if you want to replay that one or not.
Yeah, I mean, we were thinking the contact was going to come between the 42 and the 48, but it ended up being the 8 and the 48. So you see Frank tries to get underneath the 48, but, Chris is trying to block this run. He doesn't want to lose this position, and he tries to save it, but just all of a sudden breaks loose. I do believe he probably overcorrected a little bit there, but, I mean, he almost had it saved.
Yeah, Greg Wachinski and Chris Johnson being the recipients of that required repair flag. That is not going to be good for either one of their days.
Yeah, 100%. Smacks that wall, and then here comes Greg Wachinski, and then you think he almost had it saved, and it was just a light tap, but it was enough to break that toe.
And that's just bad because it was at the end of the stage also. So that's going to put Kendall LeBron as your stage 1 winner with Don Avery P2, Abner Acosta P3, Brian D. Johnson and P4, Kenny Powell, P5, Jose Acosta 6, Frank Flores 7th, Ron Strunk 8th, Chris Severa 9th, and John Mullins rounds out those top 10 point spin positions. As these drivers are coming down pit road to get some TLC and some Sunoco racing fuel, we'll go ahead and step away ourselves and get another word from our sponsors.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Quick detailer from JL's Garage is perfect for wiping away smudges, fingerprints, any kind of dirt and grime. The most important part, and this is my favorite, is when people come up to you and tell you your 20-year-old car looks brand new. That's priceless.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as we just saw a huge accident kind of in the stage. So I think we've already broken that thing to where if this thing goes green the whole way, I don't believe it's going to, just considering what we just saw. But now we have Kendall LeBron, our stage 1 winner, up in the booth. Kendall, car must be feeling good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, the car's feeling pretty good. At the beginning, it's kind of sluggish at the beginning of the run, but I just try to take care of my tires and wait until the end of the race. Well, end of the stage and end of the race, because I know this one's a long-run car, so I just got to take care of the tires to make it to the end, man. And when I see someone make a pass on me, I just give and take, man. That's all I got to do.
Yeah, that's definitely all you got to do. You've led 12 laps so far. You get yourself a stage win, going to help you out a ton. I mean, definitely going to be helping you out in the playoffs. How are you feeling? Do you feel like you got what it takes to get the victory here?
The victory, yeah, I do believe I got what it takes if it stays green, because it's definitely a long-run car, but I don't think I'm in the actual playoffs or not, because I didn't actually see the standings or anything, so I'm not really sure, but just trying to pick up my first win of the season, that'd be great, though.
Yeah, there you go, man. Well, quick shout-out from you, because I know you're getting ready to go back green.
Shout out to Team Watson Racing, Warrior Racing, and G&G guys, Kenny Powell putting up the server, and y'all guys doing the broadcast.
All right, thanks, Kendall. We'll see you next time. Hopefully we'll see you later tonight.
10-4, bud.
That was Kendall LeBron, our stage 1 winner. Pace car lights are out, getting ready to take that left turn down pit road.
Oh, yeah, it's time to get back to work. So first stage is over. It's in the books. A lot of drivers got some bumps and bruises there, but I think we still maintain all of the playoff drivers, I do believe, with the exception of, I think, was Greg Wachinski in the playoffs? I don't know.
I do believe he was.
Yeah, Kendall LeBron leading this field now.
And look at that, Jose Acosta making a move on Don Avery there.
Yeah, Don Avery and Jose are going to be battling side by side. This is going to be for P2. Looks like Avery is going to get the run on that high side, but will he get enough to actually be able to complete the pass? But nope, here comes Jose back underneath the bottom.
Yeah, and Don needs to complete this pass as soon as he possibly can because he does not want to stay up there on that top for too long. I mean, we even heard him on Thursday. He didn't like running on the top. It was bad for the tire.
Yeah, I think Jose just wants to get as far from the back as he can. You know, he did not have good luck back there in the field, so he's just trying to look. Let me get it. Oh, Avery all over the back bumper of Jose. He's going to definitely give him a little bit of a love bump there going through the turn.
And this is allowing Ryan Strunk. He's now up into the top 5 in 4th place, catching up there to the back of the 11. Also, look at Gary Adamson. He is making moves right now. Now, I know for a fact he is one of the playoff drivers. And he needs him a good finish.
Yeah, and right behind him, you got the 8 of Frank Flores, Triple F Frank Flores, and he's got Kenny Powell going to be battling along beside him on that outside. Powell, also a playoff driver, trying to do everything he can to get around him so he can kind of get up to the front.
Tell you what, if you look up on YouTube how to turn someone without getting involved yourself, you'll see Frank Flores. Apparently, he don't have a lick of damage on that race car. He is looking real fast. But here comes John Mullins, all right, warp speed there with that Lucky Charms Tricks machine.
Yeah, Flores was not showing. I mean, he was not showing tremendous pace.
But he definitely started showing up towards the end of that run. I think he's got him a long run car. But here comes Brian Johnson. I mean, could there be any animosity? Because, you know, Brian Johnson and Chris Johnson, those are brothers. I mean, you got to go defend your brother's honor.
No, there's not going to be any animosity. But, yeah, Flores does actually have a pretty fast car. But I don't think he's fast up front. I think he gets faster as the run goes. And
that's what you want.
Pulling in.
You know, he's running, I do believe, an elite machine there, so definitely probably got some a lot of horses under that hood as we've seen Abner Acosta start to come back into the top 10 here.
Yeah, another thing you're going to notice, too, in this stage, these guys are actually racing a lot harder up front now than they were at this point in the last stage. So that's definitely going to start to wear some people out. So it's be interesting to see if a lot of guys are going to stay up front or if they're going to start to kind of drop back on their own accord rather than waiting until their tires just start screaming bloody murder.
Well, I'm assuming they will start screaming bloody murder any time. I mean, even though this is a little bit of a shorter stage, just considering we had those pace laps. So now I do believe we are now 15 laps to go when we cross. Yep, we are 15 laps to go as Ryan Strunk on the top. Huge run of momentum.
Yeah, you could be fast up top on this track.
And he definitely can.
He's pushing Jose down. Now he's going to be on the outside trying to get the run. And let's see how much of a run he does get. Looks like he saved his tires just for this. Going to come almost down onto the does of Jose Acosta, but still going to maintain his line. Still trying to get it. Not quite past Jose just yet.
Whew, this is getting scary because Kendall is like moving through both lanes, almost like he would at a plate track. But it looks like Strunk, nothing. He is not going to be denied here as he takes the lead.
That's going to be our third leader here for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Strunk and the Save the Tata 77 is now our new leader here. Kendall LeBron now is going to be behind him. These lap times aren't falling off just yet as Strunk just ran his fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, he is definitely running some very, very quick times. But, I mean, we saw, though, later in the run, he started falling off when he, running that top side. But now he's got the lead, that clean air. Will he change it? I mean, but still, tradition says that Strunk is going to run as hard as he possibly can. He's one of those drivers that gets everything out of that race car, but it kind of can affect him later in the run, though.
Oh, Kenny Powell getting into the back of the 36 of Gary Adamson just a little bit. As Powell now down on the inside. This battle is going to be for 5th place. Looks like Powell is going to get P5, and it seems like he is on a little bit of a run here trying to get up to the front. He is back in the top 5. This is the second time Powell's been in the top 5 this evening. Another driver played it real safe here, Brian. It's kind of surprising. That is the 62 of Severa. He has not been up there mixing it up like DJ Khaled, Instead, he's kind of laying away back like LL Cool J.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I mean, he's been tremendous all season long, but when it comes to these playoffs, he really needs to get going because, I mean, this is the time you can't lay over,
He's the leader in the playoffs if my memory serves me correctly, and He's just kind of. I know we know Severa's fast. Okay, let's don't get fooled to think otherwise. Another.
Oh, it looks like Kendall LeVron is taking the lead back here.
This is going to get really sporty here.
Very much so, as we now have less than 10 laps to go here in stage 2.
These guys are going to be battling side by side here. I don't think this is going to be over in just a couple passes.
No, I mean, they're getting really, really close to each other, inches off of each other's back bumpers there. I mean, I thought Kendall was getting ready to turn Ryan. Oh,
Not
contact!
yet. But they are door banging. I mean, right there. I don't know if those are love taps or not. I'm going to guess not.
Yeah, I think they're not done. I don't think they're done touching.
Yeah, LeBron down on the inside. He is going to push Strunk to the outside. Strunk on that high line. Like you said, man, you get fast runs up there, but at the detriment of your tires.
Oh, there goes.
The 28 gets way loose right there.
Kendall was not giving Ryan a whole lot of room. He was not giving him a whole lot of room, and Ryan, I think he kind of took some of that room back, and not a whole lot of give and take this early in the race. Don Avery, though, taking advantage.
Yeah, the 42 of Jose Acosta is going to be pulling in right behind them, but you'd best believe that the 28 is going to get his senses back, and he is going to run back down to 77, and these two are going to battle again. As here comes Kenny Powell, always trying to thread the needle there behind Don Avery and Jose Acosta. Powell deciding to go low right there.
This is some great racing right here, I'll tell you that.
And the 28 now pulling right back up onto the back of the 77.
He probably is not too happy with that 77 right now.
Absolutely not. With 7 laps to go in this stage here, with 6 to go in this stage, or 7 actually. These two are now side by side again for the lead, Brian.
Kendall wants to go back-to-back here, so verging on now 6 laps to go. But here comes Don Avery with a full head of steam.
You know,
this top 5, you could throw a blanket over these guys right now, Big Al.
Yeah, I don't think they were, beating each other up with ill intent. I just think it's just hard racing right here is what we got going on.
And definitely is.
Yeah, Don Avery's just let's ride with Avery for a little bit there and see if we can't just see what his view is like chasing down these two that are battling for the lead.
Yeah, Don Avery under some fire himself. We see Kenny Powell.
Yeah, he's got a mirror full of Powell.
Yeah, Powell is right there. And he also side by side with Jose Acosta at the same time. He's probably not fit. I bet if we had a heart rate monitor on Don Avery right now, he probably would be going above the charts, off the charts there.
Yeah, definitely, because he's going to want to make sure that he can clear Jose, and be able to get back off that top here sometime soon. Because, he even said on Thursday's night racing he did not like riding up there for long periods of time.
And he looks like he's going to get past here, and he catches up to Strunk really fast. Don Avery going to be challenging for second on the bottom here.
He is going to clear Ryan Strunk for P2, and that is now a battle between Jose Acosta and Ryan Strunk. Strunk doing everything he can to try to maintain P3, but Jose has got the inside. Powell also coming up behind Jose. Expect him to give him a little nudge at any time. Man, this has been some exciting racing here at Vegas here tonight, right, Brian?
Oh, it very much has been. I mean, I can't look away. You never know what's going to happen here, but I'll tell you what I'm really impressed with, though. Kendall LeVron, he's been looking fantastic out here. A little bit tight whenever he's trying to go side by side, but if he can keep the lead, he's got a good chance of winning this thing. But still a long time to go. Pit stops, green flag pit stops. That is what we're going to be talking about not too long into this in the future.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it will actually get to that point. It looks like Greg Wachinski is back onto the racetrack. That is a good sign. So he is actually back out there and rolling, even though he's some 23 laps down. I think he'll be okay. 16 laps down, ladies and gentlemen.
But here comes Don Avery. He is starting to reel in Kendall LeVron. Last time by, I do believe they were very close in pace. But to see if Kendall can hold on. White flag for the stage coming out this time by.
Talk about holding on. Ryan Strunken will be trying to hold on. He has got himself a mirror full of Abner Acosta. You know, he had fallen all the way from the lead back to right now P5. So I think that lets you know that tire degradation is going to be big here. Speaking of that, Chris Severa is going to be coming up to challenge Acosta.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, we talked about we haven't seen him a whole lot. We haven't talked about him. He said he's been laying over, but look at him now. He's in the conversation. He's coming. He is coming.
Yeah, he is pushing the Abner now. Looks like these guys are both going to try to get around Ryan Strunk and think they're going to actually make that happen.
Now we're waiting on the caution. Caution is out. Stage 2 is completed. Kendall LeVron, your Stage 2 winner, back-to-back stages. It's going to be some really good points there for him, even though he's probably not going after points. Don Avery, second place. Jose Acosta, third. Fourth place, Kenny Powell. Fifth place, Abner Acosta. Sixth place, Chris Severa. Seventh place, Ryan Strunk. Eighth place, Frank Flores. Ninth place, Brian Johnson. And rounding out our top 10, Gary Adamson. So great job to all those guys in the top 10. We're getting some really much-needed points, I'd say. But, man, what a race we've seen so far. It has been action-packed. We hope everybody out there is enjoying it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the ISCA. Well, let's go ahead and take a step away, pay some more attention to our sponsors. We'll come back, and Big Al's got some decisions to make.
Well, I already know who I'm talking to.
All right.
Quick detailer from J&L's Garage is perfect for wiping away smudges, fingerprints, any kind of dirt and grime. But the most important part, and this is my favorite, is when people come up to you and tell you your 20-year-old car looks brand new. That's priceless.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we're going to be joined in the booth by Frank Flores. Big Al, you have the floor.
Hey, Frank Flores is Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
Yeah, hey, what's going on, guys?
Well, you tell me. You're in the playoffs. You're right there at the bottom of that cut line. I think you got a couple races to decide, but what on earth happened back there, boss?
Well, honestly, Chris came down, and I mean, I don't want to say it was a block, but he came down on me, and I backed off when he got into 3 and tried to let him get it in there, and I tapped him, and then he got loose. I backed off to let him correct it. I don't know. I guess he could have. I mean, I don't want to badmouth him, but he just lost control. Couldn't control it back, and I felt bad. I didn't do it intentionally, you know.
Yeah,
So,
it definitely looked like it did not look like it was intentional. Just looked like it was a racing deal. But good thing you were actually able to keep that A car in the straight and narrow and keep it going almost damage free. So how are you feeling tonight about your chances of maybe getting on the podium, man, and trying to get yourself a little bit further along in the playoffs?
It's a must. It's a must podium or a must win, really. I mean, this track in Homestead is my 2 best tracks, so. And I feel pretty confident. I mean, this car is definitely fast. The setup is really fast. Biggest thing is managing your tires now. You know, the first 2 stages, you can pretty much go, full throttle, full send, Now it's time to save, and wait till that end. And hopefully I can be there and then actually get a podium tonight.
Well, man, I tell you what, we're rooting for you up here, but I know you got to get back to work here. So before we let you go, who you going to give that mini shout out to? Because I'm counting on you being on the podium here a little bit later on.
Well, I'm going to give the shout to EPI, man. I tell you, like Team Continuity, these setups are just amazing. So always, and definitely, I'll give to this league. I mean, it's just a real good league. I really starting to enjoy it. And you guys in the booth are just doing an amazing job. You do week after week.
Well, hey, man, it's because great drivers like you give us something to talk about. Good luck to you there, Mr. Flores, man. We'll be watching you as well as rooting for you, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thanks, man.
Definitely a great job there to Frank Flores. Hopefully he's able to make his way through the field here as the pace car lights are out. Kendall LeBron, of course, has won both stages. Can he claim the victory? Now, this is when the conversation really kind of heats up when it comes to pit strategies, Big Al.
Yeah, this is the conservation stage because, I mean, we know that these guys, they're looking at 47 laps, and the key is going to be you got to get as many laps in, I think, as you can before you actually pit. And where you call them pitting at, around 95 to 100?
I would probably say 95 or about 90 to 95, somewhere in there. I think for the most part, guys are going to try to split it in half. Maybe even as early as 88, because I think we saw Jeffrey Souza pit that early on Thursday.
Well, the guys that burn their stuff up, they're not going to have a choice.
Yeah, for sure. You're right about that. You know, it's going to get, because I mean, this is going to present the longest runs we've seen all night. It really will. And pace car is down. And I do believe we're entering the IK restart zone to get the green flag rolling here. And there it is, green flag out in the air. Kendall LeBron done a great job there on that restart.
He kind of stacked up Powell just a little bit there, kind of decoyed him up, but the 42 of Jose, he really got a better launch, but just couldn't get it going as Chris Avera came in and kind of pushed his DG teammate. But Jose now has familiar company in his rearview mirror as he has got his little brother Abner behind him to kind of push him. And now here comes Powell. He secured that inside line, and for the first time tonight, he's up in P2. That's short-lived. Back down to P3, Brian.
Yeah, side by side, getting really incredibly close between the 24 and the 42, battling it out right now for that top two. And looks like Jose's going to slide up into second and get him cleared. But look at Chris Avera now up into that fourth place position. Don't count him out as Abner Acosta now under fire from the 77 of Ryan Strunk. We have not seen the last of that 77, it does appear.
Yeah, I'm just wondering though if Avera's tactic is going to be up front this early. I mean, I was wondering, I was actually expecting him to be a little bit further in the back, but maybe he just is trying to get himself away from the accidents and calamity. So that's why he's running up there. I just hope he didn't bring it with him.
Yeah, I think that he just wants to get as close to those guys as he can, of course, to try to save tires. One thing about Chris Avera he's always been good at is being fast while saving at the same time. So I would not be surprised that, you know, he's somewhat saving right now also.
Yeah, and Jose Acosta is going to be, I believe, our fifth different leader of the race here tonight, as he is now going to be in command of this field. Way to go, Jose. So that's good on him. His little brother Abner is slid all the way back to sixth. Now, he was up in the top three. Severa now going to be on the outside of Strunk, and I think this is the time that he is going to start to kind of slide back a little bit. But he's now got John Mullins behind him and Abner Acosta down low, so we'll just be watching to see if he can actually get out of the way. But also, look at Don Avery. He is kind of riding in the back there for a little bit for the first time tonight as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys realize that this is the longest run they're going to have to do. I mean, you know, I do believe 35, 40 laps these guys are going to have to make. I mean, both of the stages were only 25, Big Al. I mean, that's going to make it a little bit difficult to save those tires. So I think a lot of guys are you know, hey, I'll hang back a little bit, save my equipment. Whenever all those guys are dying, I'll show up and pass them like they're not moving.
Yeah, there's doing a little bit of shuffling there in the field as they're trying to work themselves out between Avery, Mullins, and Severa.
Yeah, Mullins has been looking pretty good tonight. I mean, look at him. He's getting a huge run up on the top. Them Chevy's been running that top real good, I tell you what.
Yeah, I just don't think anybody's trying to be too racy at this point right here. You know, if a guy wants to go by, this is one of those times where you just totally give, you know, to be give and let live at this point of the race. It's not time to be out there blocking or fighting or, you know, because the biggest thing is you got to try to get as close to a tank of gas out of this thing as possible. And you don't want to be the cause of the main event. You don't want to be the guy that actually causes the caution to come out.
definitely not. I mean, especially to rob all these viewers out here the chance to see pit strategy. That is some of my favorite racing.
Oh yeah, you drive for show and you pit for dub. There, I said it again.
I mean, you got to say it every race. I mean, we have a quota you got to fill.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting paid for that.
You get a cent per time you say it. Same for me with 100%. I think I'm gonna get a lot of money if I keep saying 100%. Look at the 64 of John Mullins up there on the top, getting a huge run right up to Kenny Powell, but Powell able to slip up in front of him.
Yeah, he definitely got a little bit of a bump action going on, Powell, and that's going to give Powell, I think, the juice that he needed to actually move up a little bit. But now here comes Ryan Strunk on the outside. Powell torn between two dimensions. Do you stay low with Mullins or do you go up high with Strunk? And I think he's going to try to just ride the line a little bit.
I think he just wants to keep them behind him until their tires start wearing. But this is kind of pushing him to go a little bit faster than he probably wants to go.
And another one on that is I think that's kind of what's happening to Jose. I think Jose is just out front right now, and unfortunately, he does get the good air, but I think he's going to pay for it dearly as this stage wears on.
Well, he's going to pay for it too in fuel economy.
Yeah, and there's that.
He's going to be definitely cutting through the air here as we get him getting stacked up a little bit here in the top 5. Kenny Powell under fire from the 64.
Yes, John Mullins is trying to get himself up into the top 3 for the first time this season.
He's looking really good. I mean, and I've been kind of skeptical lately of John Mullins because we've seen glimmers of him being fast, but then all of a sudden he's just having a bad night. And, it just seems like he's maybe got it together a little bit more tonight. He's definitely running quick. I mean, he's using the high line, though. That's going to tear those tires up a little bit more than he probably wants. So he's going to be desperate to get in front of Kenny Powell.
Yeah, you got it. Now watch for that crossover doors. Powell's going to be coming in with a head of steam right there. He's going to get pushed to the outside. This Ron Strunk now going to be on the inside, and he's going to be trying to do everything he can to solidify that position as the 64 John Mullins now slides right back down in front of him.
And when you say pushed, I think that was the best way to say it. I mean, Kenny Powell definitely got pushed to the high side. I mean, Ryan Strunk kind of manhandled him a little bit there, but that's what you got to do when you're in the playoffs. I mean, we only have, I do believe, 3 races to go after this one in this season, the Super Cup season.
Did you see the run that John Mullins got coming around the outside there? He was almost up even with Jose Acosta. He was definitely past Kimmel LeBron as we are halfway through this thing, and be interesting to see if he can actually duplicate that and get that run again. And here he comes.
I think
again.
Mullins might come up here and lead some laps, Big Al. I think he will. It's just how long it's going to take. How long is it going to take for the tires to kind of wear out for him? Because I feel like he's doing kind of what Ryan Strunk did.
He's going to have to be patient, though, if anything, because that's the only thing that's going to get him to the front of the train. Jose's not just going to yield and let it go, and LeBron is not going to, he's not going to relinquish that track position. So now the longer Mullins stays out there, I think the lesser his chances are of actually being able to get out front and lead a lap or two.
Yeah, I don't know. Now it's starting to kind of fall back in, to the mean. He's starting to kind of, I think he's burned his tires up a little bit, kind of got a little bit too much temperature in him, as now Ryan Strunk is kind of proceeded to run the bottom line, and he's catching up to these guys pretty quickly as he does get up into the top 3.
I'm interested that these guys are running so hard. For so long, they still have to go at least another 25 laps before they can even consider pitting.
Yeah, I mean, we're 17 laps into this run right now. I mean, so that's quite a bit of time these guys have been on these tires already. I mean, we're almost at the end of a stage, if you will, when it comes to that 25-lap kind of run. So I'd say in the next, like I said, probably in the next 15, maybe 20 laps. I'd say, yeah, probably more like 20 laps. Like you said, maybe 25. That's when we're going to see guys going down. And what is the picture going to look like then? I mean, if these guys are running so hard, which I think is your point, if these guys are running this hard, what is this picture going to look like when we get there?
Now, another thing is, 2 things here. One, look at how close we are together right now. As Kendall LeBron has got back up into the lead, and he is starting to distance himself. And number 2, it's some of these guys have got their car set up for the long run, and I think we're going to see how many long run setups we got here real shortly, but right now it just has not been able to yield itself so we can have it in a like we can dissect it. But it's coming though. We'll be able to pick it out here real soon.
Well, tire fall off is definitely very apparent right now. You know, these guys are hitting 31-second laps, and it's only going to free fall from there, probably up to 32-second laps, and for some guys, even 33-second laps. We saw that on Thursday. You know, but you're right. It was a lot more spread out, I'd say, on Thursday, but here tonight, these guys are all up on top of each other. Similar speed from a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, and that just could spell catastrophe. I don't know. Hopefully everybody will be nice as these tires continue to wear, and they'll continue to give more than they take, because that's what it is actually going to be essential in order for us to keep this thing green and not be deprived of our green flag pit stops, because we demand green flag pit stops. We are entitled. No, not so much.
No, yeah, no, I agree. No, totally. We see Abner Acosta fighting with Kenny Powell right now, side by side. Chris Severa kind of playing kingmaker in a lot of ways, trying to figure out where to go. But Don Avery, he's starting to move forward too. He's right there behind Chris Severa.
Yeah, at this point, I just think you're just doing the ride-along thing, and the longer you're in the draft, the more gas you're going to save, and just kind of save your tires and take it easy. I mean, at this point, I do believe you're racing. You're racing for your pit stops.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, and you know, pit stops not that far away, about probably 15 laps. We'll see those to see where everybody shakes up. I mean, we always talk about it. You know, you can make so many mistakes going down pit road, whether that be speeding or even just missing your box and having to kick it in reverse. You lose a second on pit road, it's gonna, you know, amount to something on the racetrack. I mean, you spent a second down pit road longer than you could have. That's gonna equal tens of feet that you're gonna lose out on the racetrack.
Yeah, the good thing is this is not one of those tricky pit stop racetracks. You know, this was pretty straightforward getting in and getting out. Drivers just got to watch their spacing, watch their timing, as well as watch their RPMs and their speed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but, you know, when these guys are on such older tires, though, that's when it gets really difficult under a green flag pit stop. That's when, yeah, this is not a tricky pit road, but if you have to do it under green, you're on old tires, it can be. I mean, that's for sure, because, I mean, all it takes, you know, locking the tires up. And from what I've heard from a lot of drivers, it's easy to lock the tires up in these next gens. You know, locking the brakes up, getting on a little too hard.
Absolutely. You know what I just realized? Let's give a shout out to my main man, Paul Osen in the 43, because he has the fastest lap on the track tonight. So way to go, Paul.
Yeah, Paul actually is fourth place in the points right now. He's definitely going to be needing to get a good finish. He's right now in 11th. As we see some tussling for position here, Abner Acosta battling with Chris Severa. Of course, that is for, I do believe, 5th place. And here comes Don Avery. I do believe Abner, maybe not as quick. And that's surprising. I mean, you know, coming off of a win last week, having a 75% win rating, I hate to keep harping on that in the ISCA, but, like, you know, it's very impressive. But it just seems like maybe they missed the mark a little bit. I mean, I know that kind of talking about a little bit about his background, he's, you know, uses the iRacing fixed setup a lot of times, or runs in fixed series, as I should say.
We got 56 laps to go, man. I mean, what's the rush? Right now, I will be hanging out, totally taking it easy on my tires, just making it as enjoyable of a trip as possible. You go out there right now and you run like a moron. I mean, your car's going to repay you in tenfold. You know, it's going to handle like an idiot.
Kendall Levron, though, still out in the lead and still turning the fastest laps on the racetrack right now. Minute was a 31.473 last time by. That was faster than everyone in the field.
Yeah, I definitely think he has a long run set up, and he was kind of hinting at that. Well, he didn't hint at it. He actually said that car was set up for the long run. So he is right now in his prime and doing everything that he needs to do to get it done. And, you know, all we can do is just sit back and call it like we see it. And ladies and gentlemen, Kendall LeBron is definitely putting the hammer down.
Well, one thing though we've seen though, I hate to talk bad about Kendall. We've seen him make crucial mistakes like pit road incident or something like that. I mean, that I just hope Kendall has, you know, that focus hat on right now whenever he's having to tackle these green flag pit stops, that he does not make a mistake. But man, Chris Severa also looking quick here as he's catched up here to Ryan Strunk. But man, you know, first place, second place, and third place are quite far apart.
Caught.
What did I say?
Catched. Hey, follow me for more English tips.
Welcome to his TED Talk. I'm sorry.
Well, I hadn't done Big Al karaoke, so I figured I'd make corrections. So you got everybody's name.
You know, I correct you constantly. Oh, Don Avery, loose. Sorry.
Yeah, he is. Don Avery has been battling right up beside Kenny Powell here for the majority of this run right now. And these two, you know, they just can't let one go. Avery very loose right there.
He just almost lost it.
And what's the stat right now on these tires? What is it, 33 laps?
30, actually 30 right on the money. So this is the longest run these guys have had all night long. So we're kind of a mystery zone right now.
Oh, no, we're not. Some guys are loving it, and some guys are McDubbing it.
Some guys got a big old plate of biscuits, some don't.
Yeah, that's right. Ryan Strunk getting it done, though. He is back up and maintaining his position up in the top three, but look who is right behind him. Chris Severa slowly made his way back up there, and he's just kind of hanging out. And I don't think he's down and out. I think he's just doing what he's got to do now, and you'll see him slowly start to close that gap because he's going to want to have, you know, good position. Probably going to lead a couple of laps there once the leaders do decide to pit, and then depend on a spectacular pit stop to get himself up in contention for this thing.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of different strategies laid out here tonight. I mean, everybody's going to be trying to figure out when Kendall's going to pit, try to short pit him or long pit him, and there's going to be multiple strategies here. And, you know, soon we're going to see it play out right before our eyes. We're reaching that pit window.
Well, Kendall just has to ensure that he can maintain the pace that he has because he's going to want to keep that lead as much as he can because that's going to be the key. Oh, Severa now going by the inside of Ryan Strunk. Strunk got really loose there coming out of the turn. Now he's up high. You know, we saw him up high with Woes earlier, but Abner now coming up right behind him.
Yeah, definitely looking very fast, both of these drivers. They seem like they have like somewhat of an alliance together, the way they have been pushing each other along all race long. Of course, Chris Severa started deep in the field, I believe 12th place.
Real recognized real.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I mean, you talk to guys that are like, you know, kind of almost equally fast in a lot of ways. They have a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You can't count these guys out. I mean, both of those two gentlemen are going to be in the conversation at the end of this thing, as well as Don Avery. I definitely think you could possibly see his name up there as well.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting hard right now with Kenny Powell. Of course, Powell up on the top side. I know, you know, Kenny Powell kind of was mentioning to me, you know, after the Thursday race, he was like, I was just shocked at how much 75% gas was affecting the setup that he was using. So I'm hoping that they got to work on that, but it looks like maybe he's starting to have those same kind of ails.
Well, Powell definitely needs a good finish as well, and you know, he's number 2 in the points, so we definitely can't count him out of it. I just hope that he can actually, you know, maintain. These guys are so close in competition, co-opetition, and just sportsmanship, man. It's just going to be a shootout here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is here. Now we're reaching that point where 32-second laps are kind of starting to happen here. Right now, everybody mostly is hitting 31.8s, but we're getting close to that. And, you know, fuel window is open. It's wide open. These guys can go down and be able to make it to the end now.
Yeah, I think you want to try to stay out as long as you can, though.
Yeah, especially with the nature of these tires. But, you know, if you do have a better long run setup, short pitting might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, we'll
It just depends. It's, as we always say, it's always about, I'd say, execution, right? I mean, you could have the perfect strategy, but if you can't execute it, it don't matter.
Yeah, I think the people that we're going to see coming down pit road now will be the people who are just, smoked up their stuff, literally. And John Mullen's prime example of that. He is all the way in the back now. He is running, 32.3. So I think you'll see him come down sooner than later. Yeah, because some guys just, that's just the way that the cookie crumbles,
100%. Tell you what, I'm very impressed with this 77 of Ryan Strunk. I thought he was burning his equipment up, but he's still maintaining some pretty good pace and still holding on to fifth. So, I mean, he was kind of doing what John Mullins was doing, but I think that Strunk just has gotten so good at his driving style that he's getting to where he can still accommodate that.
Yeah, still amazed, though. These guys are still relatively close out here on the racetrack. So that's another thing that's awesome. I think when they do start to come down pit road, it's just going to make those gaps get a little bit closer and closer together.
Kind of got Abner Acosta here through his cockpit as he chases down Chris Severa. See how much these guys are having to lift. You just got to look at how precise and how little he's moving that wheel. That's how you save tires, Big Al.
That's exactly how you save tires. Not big wiggles, little wiggles. Yep, just like that, green flag pit stops have begun. Looks like we got the 11
It's
of
begun, Big Al.
Begun.
Yeah, Kenny Powell and Don Avery both down.
John Mullins.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Don Avery misses his box, Big Al.
That's going to hurt a little bit.
Oh, yeah, definitely going to cost him a second or so.
And that's what we're talking about. The 4, the 117, the 43, Paul Olsen. Look, yeah, green flag pit stops fully in session now. Now it's going to be interesting. We'll be watching to see when the leaders are going to come, because the longer they stay out, these guys coming out here with these fresh, fast tires, they're going to be fast for a while, but they still got to go some 39 laps on those tires, Brian, in order to put this thing in the books.
Side by side, Abner Acosta makes a pass on Chris Severa there. What were you saying? Ryan Strunk down pit road?
Yeah, Ryan Strunk down pit road.
Do you believe it looks like Frank Flores also, Gary Adamson?
So now you're going to have different speeds out there. Is that lead pack? Oh, Chris Severa is coming down pit road.
So yeah, kind of a last-second thing there for him. I mean, surprised he made it down to speed.
Yeah, I was expecting him to stay out longer.
Well, I mean, I think once he got passed by Abner, he just kind of felt like, I need to go now. The green flag pit stop's well and truly underway. Only the top 3 have yet to pit, but here comes Kendall Levron, our leader. Looks like Jose Acosta going to stay out for one more lap, get that lap led.
And here comes his brother Abner, going to be right with him, so these two are going to have the same pit strategy in mind.
Yeah, they definitely are kind of sticking to a different strategy. And that's what you love about, all these different teams, Pandaretta racing,
Pandaretta.
Pandaretta, I'm sorry. And you got G&G, and you got all these, teams that are on different strategies. That's what makes it, the strategy so fun to watch is, Acosta, Jose, I think we might have missed pit road.
You mean, was that Abner?
Well, I think Jose actually just dipped down pit road. I think he might be fine, but he almost missed pit road altogether there. As we now are going to have 34 laps to go. And Abner Acosta, the only one that has yet to pit here. Let's see if he comes down this time. And it looks like, yep, he's coming down. So that is everybody. Everybody has taken their green flag stops. Let's see how it all shakes out, Big Al.
Yep, with 35 laps to go now. You know, this is where you're going to make up that time on pit road, or you're going to lose it, because, you know, the seconds on the racetrack, they're going to really be down to a tenth of a second. But what you did on pit road, that's where you're going to lose seconds.
Yeah, for sure. As we see Kenny Powell and Kendall LeBron battling it out. This is effectively, I think, what's going to be for the lead. So Kenny Powell going to be trying to lead some laps here tonight. Of course, I do believe these guys, yep, there comes Abner off of pit road. They'll be getting by him, and that's going to give Kenny Powell the lead. And still pretty close. I mean, even after green flag pit stops, these guys are still pretty close to one another here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, I mean, that's what you love to see, when everybody is able to green flag pit and still be able to be in contention here. Look at Brian Johnson. I mean, he's right now up in 5th, but here comes Kendall LeBron. He says, no, I'm going to take that lead back. But I do believe Kenny Powell able to get at least one lap lead, and that's going to be some points that he's going to need. We've never seen, I don't believe we've seen Kendall LeBron win a race here, but I think we might have all the makings for it. But here comes Don Avery going to be trying to change that. We saw Avery towards the late run getting pretty loose, but it looks like he's been able to make up for it. I want to see Don Avery 8 laps on his equipment along with Kenny Powell, so both of those guys pitted at the same exact time. Kendall LeBron has 4-lap newer tires. But don't count out Jose Acosta and Abner Acosta. They were the last ones to pit, so they're going to have the freshest tires.
Yeah, they're currently being shown in 7th and 8th.
And a lot of people wouldn't think that, 4 laps or 2 laps or 3 laps, that does not mean a whole lot. But when you're on the racetrack at, 30 seconds a lap, I mean, that's a lot of tire wear. So, I mean, that 3 or 4 laps could be all the difference, Big Al.
Oh, yeah.
But here comes Don Avery. He is catching Kendall LeBron quickly here. So Kendall's got to be probably sweating a little bit here in that TWRS car.
He's probably being pushed a little bit faster than he wants to be pushed, but...
Of course, now we have less than 30 laps to go.
And at this point, I would not block Don Avery. I would just let him go.
And the racing has just been utterly fantastic here tonight. I want to give a big shout out to everybody out there watching and all the drivers on the racetrack that make this possible. As here we see Ryan Strunk making a big move.
Look at that run that Don Avery was picking up there coming around the outside. He's going to be banging his way around the outside of Kendall LeBron. LeBron not going to be able to stop this one.
Yeah, the thing about Kendall, he does not, I mean, he's good on the bottom, but when he's got somebody above him, it seems like he gets tight. I don't know if it's maybe taking side force off of him. As here we go, crossover maneuver from Don Avery.
Avery way low coming across the infield.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely a huge fight right now. But Kendall now up on the top. How's that? We haven't seen him run a little closer to the top before, so I'm wondering how much that's going to burn the tires up. But luckily, he was not up there long. But Ryan Strunk, I do believe he's going to be coming up here and into the mix also.
And what they're doing, though, by them racing that hard, consequently, is causing both of them to kind of burn their tires up a little bit. So that might work out to their detriment. I don't think it's going to be in their favor as this thing rolls on.
No, definitely not, as Ryan Strunk has taken over second place, though. Don Avery not wanting to let that one go, though. I think he was trying to line up maybe a crossover, not able to get there, though, as Kenny Powell watches on. But you know who's still coming? You know, Jose Acosta, Chris Severa, they're both right there. Also, Brian Johnson, I do believe, under fire from Chris Severa. Oh, Don Avery slows up. A little bit of contact there from the 42.
Yeah, just enough, and Avery is going to get way loose. He is definitely pedaling that thing like a bicycle now, trying to get it back up onto the track.
I do believe Thomas O'Hara going down pit road, I do believe, for a second stop, possibly. Or maybe just a blinking issue. I keep seeing him, his name go out.
Yeah, he's having contact issues.
But here comes Chris Severa. Not going to let himself, you know, be not talked about here tonight. He's got to be in the conversation, that 62 machine, as he now is going to be fighting with his teammate, Kenny Powell. Powell not probably going to want to let him go here.
Yeah, I don't think you call them teammates at this point. With 24 to go here, and they're both 1 and 2 in the points for the playoffs. Yeah, at this point, I think you call them, competitors. Severa definitely going to be trying to figure out how to get around the 24 Powell. that pass is going to have to happen sooner than later, though, in my opinion. Because I believe Severa is definitely going to try to be mounting a charge to the front of this thing.
And now he's going to be moving to the top side by side for that 4th place position. Brian Johnson kind of has a great view of this battle. Tell you one to watch, though, I think is going to be Jose Acosta. He's on some of the freshest tires out there in the field, and he's right there behind the leader. I mean, he could end up maybe battling and getting by Kendall. I mean, he's got a little bit newer tires.
I mean, there's 23 laps to go in this thing, so it's almost the length of a regular stage. So, yeah, who knows how this could play out in his favor. But I think, you know, it's still not quite go time. I think you do got to be putting the pedal down here, but I think you just can't go all out because, you know, once you get the heat in those tires, it's going to be hard to get it out.
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, Jose, last time by, was 0.2 faster than Kendall. He is right there almost on the back bumper. We've been talking about Abner, been lighting the ISCA world on fire. Well, here comes Jose. He's like, I'm not going to let my brother have all of the spotlight.
I wouldn't count Abner out just yet either.
Yeah, Abner, of course, 2.4 seconds back from this battle. Still has time to get that done, but he is, I'd say, fighting uphill, wouldn't you, Big Al?
No, I think he's got plenty of time. I think he's in a great position. Yeah, because you got to understand, too, the guys up front, when they catch each other, they still got to pass each other. And the longer they take to do that, I mean, because right now you got Kendall and Acosta, Kendall and Jose, they're going to be right there with each other. Abner now
wow.
going on before.
Look at Abner go. Abner just made a 3-wide pass there on the apron, getting right by Kenny Powell, and I do believe he just got by Brian Johnson. He's going to take over 5th place here. So, yeah, I think he might be onto something, Big Al. I hate to say I'm wrong, but when you're wrong, you got to say it. This is going to be interesting. I think it's going to come down to the wire, Big Al. I think it's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, I definitely think you got to watch the 44 and the 62. And like I said, though, Jose is doing everything he can to reel in the 28 of Kendall LeBron. Kendall was just praying that his lead is big enough and long enough that he'll be able to withstand it.
Well, what's interesting, though, last time we looked up here in this battle for the lead, you know, Jose was right behind the 28. Now he's not. This is kind of interesting. And, you know, this is one thing that I kind of talk about a lot is the closer you get to that other car, the dirty air.
Yeah, and also is that carrot on a stick. You know, you kind of get transfixed. And just like that, you know, you quit doing what you were doing to get to that point. So Jose's got to be able to stay focused in order to close the deal. And we can't burn his stuff up trying to get there. He has to maintain his own race pace.
Woo. Abner and Chris Severa are able to get by the 77 of Ryan Strunk, but very close there as the 44 almost came up into the 77.
Look at the run that Abner's got on the 62 of Severa. You remember now, Abner was way in the back there just like 2 laps ago, and now here he is, all the way up to battling for 3rd place here.
Now, if Abner wins this race, he would have won, I do believe, the last 4 out of the 5 last races we've done that he's been in.
Yeah, Severa's definitely doing his part to make him loose coming through the turn there, coming through.
I don't blame him. I mean, I wouldn't want this guy to have those kind of statistics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd slow him up. I'd try to slow him down. I wouldn't wreck him. I'd try to slow him down. Side drag, do whatever I could.
I mean, I ain't mean to wreck him. I was just trying to rattle his cage a little bit.
That's right. But Abner Acosta now up into the 3rd place position. Able to get around Chris Severa. Now he's trying to catch up to his brother. Of course, he's 3.1 seconds back, so that's a lot of distance to cover, and we only have, I do believe, soon to be 14 laps to go.
Yeah, little faith.
You're right. But the thing is, you even said it, that these guys that are racing up here in front have to pass each other. Abner has to pass Jose before he can even sniff at Kendall.
Yeah, but if Jose has burned his stuff up trying to catch Kendall, that's going to change the whole lane now. And Kendall has a long run car, so that's going to work out in his favor because remember, he was fast all the way through.
Yeah, and he's the fastest last time by, except for Abner. They were only separated by a couple thousandths in their lap times.
And Abner's got the do his tires.
He definitely does. You're right. He was the last man to pit. We'll have to see what he can do here. Last time by, he was about a 10th faster than Kendall, so he's trending in the right direction. It's just going to be tough. He's 2.9 seconds back now. But he's got his work cut out for him. But I mean, verging on, I do believe 12 laps to go. He's still got just enough time, I think, to catch up to Jose and possibly get by him and then maybe tussle with Kendall. This is going to be at the wire. I would not be surprised if this is a side-by-side finish here tonight, Big Al.
Well, guess who's slowing down? Kendall's slowing down, and Abner is too, but Abner's not slowing down to the rate that Kendall is. So, and that's what I figured was going to happen. Kendall was going to be playing hard to be able to maintain the pace that he was running, and he has got Jose chasing him, so that's definitely making him run probably a little bit faster than he wanted to for a while. But he still has the benefit of the clean air. I just think it should come down to the wire.
It really will, and it's going to be an exciting finish as we're verging now on 10 laps to go. All is going to be decided. And if Kendall wins, or even if Abner wins, that is going to take a lot of points away from some playoff drivers.
Yeah, that's a true story.
But definitely been a great night for Ryan Strunk. Nice top 5, going to be able to give him some necessary points. Kenny Powell, he's in 7th, so he's going to be getting some good points here.
Yeah, with Ted to go, just hopefully they can maintain. That's going to be the key for everyone's success right here as this thing goes on.
We do have a battle for Don Avery. Don Avery and Kenny Powell, I do apologize. I had a little bit of a frog stuck in my throat there, but Avery on the inside looks like he's going to be able to fight and get around Kenny Powell. That is, of course, for that 7th place position, so it's going to take one more point away from Kenny Powell.
I don't think Powell's going to let that one go that easily. I think
not at all.
You can be prepared to see him do everything he can to try to battle Don Avery.
And he seems like he's just, Avery getting incredibly loose there.
Avery's been having that same problem coming out of 4 there.
All race long.
Yep, coming out of 2, he's been loose.
Also, side by side, I do believe it's Brian Johnson and Ryan Strunk right now. Johnson making a late race resurgence here up into the top 5. But Kendall LeVron, still your leader, has a second on Jose Acosta. But Abner Acosta is coming 2.7 seconds behind. What a race this has been. I mean, unknown who's going to win this thing, but I think Kendall starting to become the odds-on favorite. I think this might be his first win in the ISCA Cup Series or Super Cup Series, both of them. I mean, really, if he's able to win this race, it's going to be a big day for him.
Yeah, I totally get it. Frank Flores trying to hold on to 10th place. Gary Adamson gets a little bit loose there. Now, he was reeling in the 8 of Flores, but just right there, that little bobble there is going to cost him a little bit more.
And now 5 laps to go here. Yeah, you see Greg Wychinski. I mean, he's been kind of battling with Gary Adamson too. So, Greg, of course, I do believe is 15 laps down. So, definitely not really for position there. But I think that the 5 is kind of hindering the 8 or the 36 from catching the 8 there, and that's unfortunate.
Well, the 36 was up onto the 8. I mean, he was there, but then he lost it. He kind of got a little bit loose. And that's what put him behind the 5. It's Ryan Strunk battling Brian Johnson. We are 5 laps to go in this thing. It is all Kendall LeVron's to win or lose.
It's based on if he makes a mistake here. I mean, it's still, with the tires being as old as they are, I mean, he could still end up making a mistake. But, the battling right now is for that fifth place position. I mean, you also see right behind them, Kenny Powell and Don Avery. I mean, they're probably licking their chops seeing the 77 and the 4 battle.
Yeah, they just actually door banged each other. Not going to be good for either one of their stats or potential.
Well, I mean, one thing about it, too, I mean, we're near the end of this race. These guys have been racing for over 130 laps now. I mean, they're probably pretty mentally exhausted and having to focus for so long. And when they're having to battle each other, their tempers might flare a little bit easier, Big Al.
No, I think I'm the one, though, that has the greatest stress during the race because I got to sit up here in the booth with you.
Oh, yeah. I know you hate that.
Yeah, that's man, tedious.
That's rough. Still a lot of battling going on. It is definitely not done yet.
It's going to be 2 to go. Kendall LeVron, all he has to do is do what he's done for so many laps in the past, and he shall be the victor. But, Mama Acosta's got to be feeling pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Having her 2 sons up in the top 3, and we're going to get to talk to both of them. If things go the right way. I mean, white flag is out now.
Ooh, Strunk's coming back on the inside of the 4. These 2 are not yet done battling.
No, they are not. Could we see some contact here on the final lap? Wouldn't be surprised. Of course, Strunk is fighting for his playoff hopes. Every point is going to matter. Oh, getting really tight here. Coming to the line. Can Strunk pass the 4? Side by side, I think. Oh, it's going to be close. Strunk gets it.
That's awesome.
And I think it was based even on the contact with Brian Johnson. I think that, they kind of hit each other a little bit, and it sent Strunk down the track, and he had to cover less distance, Big Al.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
But Kendall LeVron, your winner for the first time in the ISCA. He grabs the dub. Jose Acosta in 2nd place. Abner Acosta in 3rd. Chris Severa 4th. Brian Johnson 5th. 6th place Ryan Strunk. 7th place Kenny Powell. 8th place Don Avery. 9th Thomas O'Hara. And rounding out our top 10 is Frank Flores.
Yep, Gary Adamson has 11th with Paula Osen in 12th. John Mullins 13th. Greg Wychinski some 15 laps down in 14th. Chris D. Johnson with the big meatball flag, also followed by Joey Preby, did not finish. So that rounds out the 16 car field. With that, though, I think we're going to watch Kendall burn it down. But what we're going to do is we're going to also step away, get some more coverage from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with our post race coverage.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Quick detailer from J&L's Garage is perfect for wiping away smudges, fingerprints, any kind of dirt and grime. But the most important part, and this is my favorite, is when people come up to you and tell you your 20-year-old car looks brand new. That's priceless.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with our post-race coverage. We've got Abner Acosta here in the booth. And Abner, man, what a run there. I don't think he had enough time there quite at the end, but what was going on there? When did you decide, because you did stay out the longest, so when did you decide to actually put the hammer down and make your run?
I think it was with like 20 laps to go. I just decided to push a little bit, but I don't think I would have had anything for Kendall. He definitely had a good car. And I think 3 and 4, his car was just way better. I believe like the only reason I was able to catch up at the end is just because I had fresher tires. But yeah, good run for us. Top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. With the Pandorata Racing Team, congratulations on finishing second and third. But more on though, so that last stage, you decided to stay out longer than everybody else. So was your car really handling that much better, you think, on the long run?
Yeah, I was fine. I didn't have any issues except with 3 and 4. It was just getting super tight on mid turn, and it was just kind of hard keeping it down. I think we were all pretty even before we pitted. I just decided with the gap that I had, I knew I wasn't really going to do anything, me pitting. I would either have to short pit or pit ahead of them. I would have to do something. So I just decided to stay longer and have fresher tires. Maybe a yellow flag would have came out or something. Or maybe I would have been able to catch up. But I was too far back, and I was not able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess you can't afford to lose some. I mean, you say you usually run a fixed setup. So
Yeah.
did you actually run the fixed setup here tonight, or did you actually tweak it a little bit?
No, we ran a different setup. Definitely not fixed. The fixed setup is really bad. You're like dying every lap with the fixed setup. So it was a lot smoother with this setup. I tested 2 of them before the race, and this one seemed like it was the best one. But I did not test after 25 laps, and that's when I felt the tightness on 3 and 4. I think if I somehow would have fixed the tightness on 3 and 4, I would definitely probably would have been able to charge it up to the front. But that's why I'm here, just learning open sets and kind of getting used to what to adjust or not during the races. So hopefully I get good enough that throughout a race I'm able to adjust my car and kind of make it better.
Yeah, so have you noticed that you've had a lot more tracks that the open setup was not the favorable setup, or is it the opposite? Is it because it seems like you run just the fixed setups more often? So I guess the question is that unusual to have the fixed setup not be good on a track?
No, usually the fixed setups are usually not good. It compared to an open set. Like for example, the fixed set here, you're loose after 15 laps. You're sliding. Though it doesn't matter who you are, you're sliding. So you have to take it super slow. Here, even for quali, for example, with the quali set, you can go full throttle on 1 and 2. In the fixed set, you definitely can't be doing that. So usually, with my experience in doing fixed sets, and I move to open, the open ones are easier to drive. They obviously they handle better, and it's just a matter of testing. I guess a lot of them are making some adjustment yourselves, which I'm not really good at yet, but we'll see what we can do. But yeah, fixed sets are usually harder to drive.
Yeah, definitely. I think probably running the fix set so long probably made you a better driver. And you did show tremendous pace here tonight, man. Just unfortunately, you might have got to going a little bit later. But next week we're headed to Homestead. So, what are your thoughts and aspirations going into that track? Because it's definitely a lot different than this one.
Yeah, I don't think I've done many races at Homestead. I think I've raced it like 2 or 3 times, and I think I've done pretty well there. I do like the track. But yeah, I think we'll definitely have to expand more on our setup, finding and building, etc., just so we get a better run at the long runs here.
Well, at least you're letting somebody else win for a change. That's all I can say about that. But congratulations to a third place finish. Definitely looking forward to seeing you next week at Homestead, man. But before we let you go, who you shouting out tonight?
Yeah, I want to shout out to Pandereta Racing Team, to my brother. He got second place. He had really good pace. And ISI Elite Training and John Deere. And you guys at the broadcast booth and the league. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, sir. Congratulations again, and look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was Abner Acosta, our third place finisher here tonight. Now I have the pleasure, I'd say, to talk to Jose Acosta, our second place finisher. How you doing, Jose? Look like you were doing pretty good out there on the track, fast all night.
How you doing, Brian? Yeah, looks like I was doing great tonight.
Yeah, you definitely were. I mean, you were racing hard, but you were also racing really clean, and you looked like you just had a good car. I mean, you were even catching Kendall there for a while, but what happened to what kind of wall did you hit there? I know you didn't really hit the wall physically. I'm just talking about like when you were coming up onto Kendall. Was it hard to actually get there to him because of the dirty air? You think?
I think so, but I also think he was actually, because he was a front, he was kind of saving a little bit, and then whenever I would get close, he would maybe drive a little bit harder. Maybe it was that, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like my brother was saying, it is true. 3 and 4, he was really fast. I would catch him in 1 and 2, but I don't know. Like he was doing something in 3 and 4 that he would just take off, and that was the issue that I had with him every time that I would get close.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, but still, great job. You were on the newer tires. What led into that kind of pit stop strategy? We even almost saw you miss pit road a little bit there, but you were able to correct that and get on there fine and not lose any time. You came out even well ahead of your brother. I mean, what was the pit strategy tonight?
Yeah, well, I knew he was fast, so I was like, maybe if I pit 1 lap later, maybe that will be the difference. But obviously, it wasn't. Um, and that was basically my strategy, man. Just trying to pit a lap later. And it just didn't work, man. I forgot what was the next question you asked me.
No, I mean, you just kind of explained it about the pit strategy there for sure. I mean, but still, you guys, what kind of preparation did y'all put into this week's race?
You know what? I actually did test for this track, and I did use the sting analyzer, and you know what? It helped me a little bit here to understand like where should I go, and that's probably one of the main reasons why I actually did better tonight. And then I was also practicing the pit entry pit, because yeah, like you were mentioning earlier, it a little, you do like one mistake entering the pit, and that was it. you're gonna turn around or something like that. So and luckily I didn't spawn out when I went to the pit. Like, yeah, I spawned a little bit, but I, control my car, and I made it to the pit all right.
Yeah, imagine
But
that.
yeah,
I mean, if you had, it didn't save it right there, you would not be in second place. I mean, that's got to feel pretty
yeah,
good that you were able to keep control of that race car.
yeah, that's right, man. And yeah, I mean, I tested, and and I see the result. So, maybe that's something that I want to do more often. But then again, by I work 10 hours a day, third shift, 6 days a week. So, if I find some time, and I could actually test, then I guess it'll be good for me.
Well, great job to you, man. How you feeling about Homestead coming up next week?
Um, I don't think I have raced Homestead with this car yet. So I have no idea, man. I got no idea. I don't know what to expect. I know that with the
Tire wear,
old
I'd say
cars.
expect tire wear to be a factor. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, like that was what I was gonna say, because with the old car, yeah, I know you have to save, and you basically ride that wall. So I don't know. I guess I gotta test.
Yeah, speaking of testing, you're gonna have to get out there and put some work in, Jose. Well, man, great job to you in your second place finish here tonight. Going to be some great points for you for sure, man. Can't wait to see what you have. You kind of coming out here and one up in your brother. I mean, that's got to feel real good. I tell you what, because you're in the spotlight a little bit more. Maybe he's still in the spotlight, but you're in there a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. It would have been better if it was first, but Kendall was too fast.
Hey, that's a good problem to have. But thanks for your time, Jose. Who can we give a shout out to after the second place finish?
Man, I'm gonna give a big shout out to my new sponsor, ISI Training, Elite Training. That's the gym that I actually go to, and it's in Georgia, Grouptown. And they have all the location around United States. Also John Deere, and I'm gonna give a shout out to where's it at? Manatee Spotter. That's actually Ari Ceja. He is the spotter in Spanish on iRacing, and also Team Puerto Rico Gaming, my Facebook gaming page from Puerto Rico, and obviously our team, Bandereta Racing Team.
All righty, definitely a lot of sponsors there. Everybody seeing the talent of Jose, they got to jump on board. Well, great job, Jose. We'll see you next time, and I know we'll talk to you again. That's for sure.
All right.
That's Jose Acosta, your second place finisher. Next up, Big Al's got Kendall Levron, our winner.
And with the hat trick tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it's Kendall LeBron. Kendall, congratulations, man. You definitely you came out here tonight and you put on a clinic, winning not only the first stage, the second stage, and also the clean sweep for the end of the race. So for me to you, first off, congratulations.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Picking up my first win in the ISCA is actually pretty awesome. These guys are actually top split guys in the A Open Series, and it's really tough to actually race these guys all week, and plus doing a NIS 75% fuel race with these guys during a league race is actually real difficult too. Makes it even more intense and actually challenging and fun.
Well, then that just makes your achievement that much greater, man. So you obviously put in a lot of time this week here, and it showed. I mean, you had tremendous pace. Definitely, once you got out front, you were the car that stayed out front. So how much time did you actually put into practicing?
Um, just about all week, because I do have a Wednesday night league race, and I am in the championship round of 8 of the championship for that league, and
Congrats.
they're going to be going to Vegas next week for that race as well. So this is another test to actually see how good this set and actually stay up front and everything, and
I
try
hate
to
to interject.
adjust.
That's the Moonshiners. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, the Moonshiners with Kenny Copeland and all the other guys from Warrior Racing that builds the sets for TWR.
Awesome. So I definitely, if you're running as well there next Wednesday as you did here tonight, I think those guys got to be definitely need to be on notice.
Oh yeah, trying to get into the championship 4. it's going to be tough because you got Kenny Copeland and a bunch of other guys that are consistent all week, every week.
Yeah, and you're definitely an up and comer here in this league, and we've been watching you, man. Been calling the races with you in it, and definitely can see that your patience and your perseverance is showing off, and that's awesome. So, congratulations again on the win. Next week we're headed to Homestead. What are you thinking about that? You got any predictions, or I mean, where you at there with Homestead?
Homestead is more like a love-hate relationship with me, but I kind of do like the track. It's kind of wide and you can keep pace just like this track as long as you can save your tires at the beginning of your run instead of wearing them out. You will be able to stay up front all day, the rest of the night. But it's just one of those tough tracks that you can love or hate depending on the situation you're in.
Yeah, definitely. Track position here being key, and once you were out front, it was going to be hard to pass you. So, are you looking at trying to get out front next week, or are you looking maybe running mid pack? What's going to be your strategy?
Not sure. I usually play my strategy by ear whenever the time comes. But like I said, I gotta do practice during the week and actually see how people race in the track, see the race line, see how people are braking when they get back on the throttle. Like just follow them. I'm just gonna try to follow the fastest guy through the week just to see what makes the car tick, just to get around the track.
Well, man, good luck to you next week. Congratulations on winning both stages here tonight, as well as the main event. Uh, couldn't have gone to a better guy, more deserving. And man, how you gonna celebrate that?
Oh, probably drink a case of beer.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, my knees, my feet are numb. My knees are killing me. I just got these new pedal sets, the sprints yesterday, and I've been trying them out, testing them out, and my legs are killing me at the moment.
Oh, wow,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, so that's one big change that actually helped me out, improved all my lap times and everything. Better throttle control, better braking points, and just better muscle memory than using my Thrustmaster load cell that I had before. So it was a big improvement, and it shocked the hell out of me after I got all the settings right
You're like a
for this race.
You're like a walking advertisement for whatever you bought.
Well, hey, look here.
I got
Look
it
here.
stiff as hell, man. It's stiff as hell.
Look here, ladies and gentlemen. There you heard it from our winner here tonight. Equipment matters. So with that, we got your celebration. Who you shouting out tonight there, Mr. LeVon?
Huge shout out Team Watson Racing Setups, Warrior Racing, the great group of guys to race around, practice. They'll give tips out as best we can, see and try to help you improve on your lap time on everything. Shout out to all my friends and family that are watching this broadcast. Shout out to Kenny Powell for putting the league up, and everybody from G&G keeping everything competitive, and everybody that was in this race tonight, my family. And yeah, huge shout out to all the women out there that are going through breast cancer, that survived breast cancer. This win is for y'all. The Breast Cancer Awareness Month machine picked up the win for y'all.
That is awesome, man. Thank you, sir. It is a pleasure to cover you, man, and to watch what you guys did down there this evening. Hopefully do the same thing next week. You have yourself a great evening.
You too, sir.
That was Kendall LeVron, winner in the 28 machine. Definitely a great job to him for sure, getting his first ISCA dub, and you got to be feeling real good about that. That's for sure. But Big Al, man, what a race! What a race this was tonight. He dominated
that was not just a win, man. That was a hat trick. You know what I mean?
He came out here and looked like Clayton Hoffman there for a moment.
Yeah, it was the Kendall LeVron show, man. That's awesome for him. And it wouldn't be right if I did not give a shout out to Sherry as well. Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah,
Definitely
Brian,
got to give a
awesome
shout out
race,
because
bro.
Don unfortunately does not have can't talk to us now. He didn't finish in the top 3. I thought he was going to get it. Unfortunately, big shout out to Sherry. But great race tonight. I mean, just saw a new winner. We saw side by side action almost the entire time. Fantastic show, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome production, awesome show, Brian. Thank you for being alongside me in the booth. Thanks for Kenny Powell for the opportunity. Also, thank our sponsors tonight, as well as the racers that come out here and give their time, as well as their family members, for them allowing them to give us something to do here and something to talk about, Brian, because it all comes together as a great production.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, that ends our racing at Vegas for the week. We've already raced on Thursday and Saturday, so now we're moving on to Thursday to Homestead. So make sure you tune in. 9:15 is when the broadcast will be going live. Of course, the race will start a little bit after 9:30. Make sure you tune in then. Of course, next time to keep these same guys are out there racing for this championship for the Saturday series. Make sure you tune in on Saturday, same time. We appreciate everybody out there tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.